It is 7:04. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm Lynn Edwards. I'm the co-president. This is Michelle Alexander, our vice president. Sonia's in Guadalajara tonight on a business trip. So we are holding down the fort. Sonia's usually very good at running the meetings, much better than I am, but we'll know the truth. So first thing, meeting minutes are always posted on our website, wellonthetalk.org. And if you look at the minutes, there's always a link to a video from the last meeting there. And starting this month, we're posting our minutes not only on Facebook but on YouTube. Requests from some community members who don't want to be on Facebook, so you'll find a second link there if you want to look at the video on YouTube. And now Lynn Edwards is putting on her treasurer hat, so she can look at it. So this month, we've had 19 renewals and 3 new members since January. We have $264 in dues and $102.75 in donations for the month. We should start out just a little bit slow. Okay, that's it for that. Is Jennifer online, John? Are you going to do any community announcements?
I'll do it.
Okay.
As far as Redwood Village goes, both Jennifer and I today were present virtually in the city council meeting about parks funding. We both spoke on behalf of Redwood Village and the surrounding neighborhoods in support of the city's funding for Parks and Rec, which there's an initiative especially to help fund or direct funding towards neighborhoods that traditionally haven't had a lot of Park and Rec funding. And so both of us spoke on behalf of that, as well as some other people from surrounding neighborhoods. And the council adopted the measure. What that will actually mean as far as the hope to get Choice Triangle Park built is still remains to be seen, but at least that was I think a positive step that they adopted the measure to direct some more funds to lesser served communities. Other than that, we don't have a whole lot of Redwood Village going on. If you guys know people who live over here and want to get them involved, please do your best to encourage people to take a few minutes out of their week to get involved. It would be really helpful.
We have a cleanup on the 30th.
Oh, and Jennifer informs me that we have a cleanup on the 30th.
Streamview Drive.
Streamview Drive.
Yeah.
That's so. We'll be sending out some emails with more information. All right, thanks.
Thanks, John. Just to add to that, the city council today approved DIF fees, so the developer impact fees. They restructured this a couple of years ago to spread the funds out more equitably to underserved communities, as far as Redwood Village. And what that means for Redwood Village is that the Choice Triangle Park is getting the funding to move to the next phase, design phase, which means they will be vacating Choice Parkway sometime in the next year. They're in the process of closing that street down to build a park. So all those straight trucks are going away. So, yeah. So we have a few announcements then. Yes. Yes.
Question. Is there a status of a stream view redesigning that or it's going to get post college? News about that?
Yeah, we've had a couple meetings. We just had a meeting last month at our planners group. And the city presented the final plans. And that's sort of it. I mean, they've been back and back and back. I think the plus is It's a plan that's not stamped in concrete anymore. There are literally about 70 trees that are being put in addition to landscaping. And thanks to groundwork, the maintenance for those will be taken care of for the next 5 years. So those trees will be long.
The original, part of the plan was those roundabouts, and I think it's been popular roundabouts.
There are still 5 roundabouts in Plymouth Yard.
In popular.
So there'll be a total of 7 roundabouts in Street View, landscaping. I think that's enough. That's pretty good.
Still some years off.
No, it's supposed to start next summer, summer of 2025. Good luck. So first, thanks to everyone who did vote this last month. We have 2 board members. Debbie Blake was online. If you wave your hand. Debbie Blake's going to be our new treasurer for the next 2 years. We also have a new member at large, Joyce Cadillo, who's not here tonight because she is actually also on a business trip. Joyce is going to be our liaison between our community. And so glad that's the opioid outpatient treatment center.
Sharing it on the screen.
Oh, am I sharing it again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, before we.
Thanks. You're fine. There it is. Perfect. Sorry. Always something. Anyway, Joyce is going to be our liaison between the community and the opioid outpatient treatment facility at Rolando Park that'll be opening later this year. So any community issues, concerns, Joyce will be interfacing with the community and the facility, and Mark Angelo, who's online tonight, is from SubMap. He'll be visiting us regularly to keep us updated and hear our issues as well. I also wanted to mention that the other thing that we approved was a different level of membership, and it's an associate membership. And this is specifically so that we can have people outside of Rolando Park who care about the community, attend meetings like Redwood Village, can be associate members. They have all the benefits that we have. I'm not sure what those are yet, but they do have benefits. They just will not be voting on anything that's no votes on Rolando Park issues. Yeah, no. But sometimes when we're voting on things like priorities, we'll have 2 voting forms, one for our Redwood Village folks, one for Rolando Park. They won't be co-mingling on that. But we work with them on so many other things that this makes sense. Tomorrow night at the Eastern Area Community Planning Committee, we're getting a presentation by the city on the Mid-City Community Plan. We're getting an update. Not sure what that looks like because I haven't seen a lot of action on their website, but we'll find out tomorrow night. If you want to join their mailing list, I'll drop this link in the chat. They'll be having office hours at the College Rolando Library on the 25th. If you're concerned about the plan or have questions, you can drop in and have a 15-minute session with someone from the city. I'll drop this link in if you want to set up a meeting with them. And they will also have a pop-up booth at the Rolando Street Fair on April 14th. Our planning group will also be there, but I'll talk to them. Just also want to thank everyone who showed up for our first cleanup on the 17th. We met down at our usual Rolando Park hangout, and that's Party House Liquor. Had a little group. We had Bob Scott from Rolando who joined us and cleaned up the north side of University. So that was pretty nice. And our next cleanup is on March 30th. John mentioned that. This will be a joint cleanup again on Streamview Drive, and I believe we'll have at least 2 dumpsters for bulky item pickup So we'll be doing another cleanup. Plan is to do more regular cleanups over there. And then last, we're the first, these are the 3 events that we have so far this year, and they might be the only 3 big events we have. Our usual ice cream social, the community yard sale. We do help promote that this year because Carol West stepped down. We're sort of looking for another business person who might want to co-sponsor this with us. People who sign up for it get in an online map, they get a yard sign and listed on all kinds of social media. And last, we're co-partnering with the PTA again to do a movie in the park in August here at the Joint Use. That's it for that part. Okay. I'll keep going. So we're on to public comments on non-agenda items. I'll start first with anyone in person. Does anyone here have any comments on non-agenda items? Raise your hand. Takers, okay. How about anyone online? Raise your hand. Raise your virtual hand. And no one online today. Okay, so moving on. Onto our community reports from our representatives. And first up is Willow Lance from Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office. Hi, Willow.
Hi, I'll just stand in next to you.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Willow. I work for Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs. Some updates from our office. Last week, the Congresswoman helped lead a bipartisan push to extend federal funding passed through the American Rescue Plan for students who are experiencing homelessness. She also attended the State of the Union last week, bringing along San Diegan Erica Malone. Erica is a Rolando Park constituent, actually. And she's the Director of Youth Development and Community Engagement at the Monarch School, which is the only K-12 school in the nation that serves students experiencing homelessness. The other thing I wanted to share with the group was that the Congressman helped secure $13.5 million for 15 local community projects. This includes stuff like addressing homelessness in our community, supporting children, preventing wildfire, providing care for service members and veterans, and building community centers. Some in the district news for us all. The Congresswoman led the delegation in urging the IRS to extend the federal tax deadline following the FEMA disaster declaration. For constituents living in San Diego County, it was previously you had to do your federal taxes for April 15th. That deadline has been pushed. It's now June 17th. The other thing I wanted to share was that our office is currently accepting applications for the Congressional Art Competition. So if you know a high school student who does any sort of artwork, let me know and I'm happy to chat with them about participating in the competition. That's all I got.
Well, she also profiled on CBS Sunday morning.
Yes, she was.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So cool.
Any questions for me?
What is the tax deadline apply to San Diego or the only ones that flood victims?
Anyone who lives in San Diego County. So
Really?
you didn't have to be in the flood, impacted by the flood, you just have to live in the county. Yeah.
Any questions for Willow online? Raise your hand. No questions?
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is our Community Relations Officer, Joshua Cummings. Thank you, Joe.
Quiet night, so I'm not expecting too many questions. I know I just been talking. I think yeah, was this. Anyway, so thank you all for being here once again. I would like to start out and say our infamous cement mixer is no more an issue.
Hallelujah.
Thank goodness, right? It was a car too. It is rotting somewhere else in the parking. We still glad to get that thing away. It was, you guys had to deal with that far too. It is no longer an issue. The residents by your guys' house also has been dealt with. They were served their third notice, so we'll talk offline after. A couple of the projects that we're working on exclusive to this area, well, 3. One being, I would like to introduce Oliver here in the back. It's his first time at the meeting. He has helped stand up a neighborhood watch off of Dandridge, and it's been pretty effective. I've been putting a lot of time with Oliver into that area, into the canyon behind that area, and dealing with the homelessness and things like that in the community there. And our idea is to build some alliances with Oliver's help, and we'll expand this neighborhood watch in that bubble to continue to make them. That's the goal. So the neighborhood watch is very much in motion. Please, introduce yourself to Oliver when you get a chance after. Secondly, the other project we've been working on is the rock throwing bandits. Okay, we are myself, the 20 service area detectives, along with the juvenile service team detective. We're all working on it. We have identified the fact that there are more than likely juveniles. We have potentially identified a suspect involved in this whole rock throwing incident. There's now 7 cases on that suspect. The problem we're having, and we're working in collaboration with school police. The problem we're having with the whole issue is the fact that identifying. The juveniles are very hard to identify. The only photo we have is when this person was probably about 7 years old. So you can imagine that the person that's doing this that we've all seen is probably closer to 15. So we're having a little bit of a hang up, but hopefully we can get this person identified soon and we can work to hold them, 1, accountable, and 2, get them to stop. That's been a big thing, literally 7 cases over the past Monday, along with the school police. So we're working on that. The last thing I'm going to continue to work on is going to be more or less the traffic. Has anyone seen any extra traffic? Given the fact that we've had these traffic requests put in and you guys have done extra traffic. Nothing, okay. I will go beyond the extra patrol requests and I will liaison directly with traffic and see about what it takes to get them to come down here. Or just put a little bit more, emphasis on that down here. So I will look at any other like hot topics that we can think of.
I know before the pandemic, there was the motorcycle cops that were really effective in getting people stopped as pop signs.
God,
But that was a while.
yeah, that is all traffic division.
Yeah, they snoop guns and something.
So I'll work to get them to hopefully come out here, but just saying. It applies to everybody, right? So I will get it out to them, and we'll make an emphasis to do that. Did you have your hand up? So, any other, Vicky?
Just to share,
Both hands.
the city of San Diego staff were posting some of the no camping signs along portions of Choice Creek today.
Good.
I'm not sure where they're all gonna end up at. And so for some of the areas that we have noted, repeated encampments and other things, I think a few of us will be out there looking to see if those new little signs are there and hopefully they help to address part of the problem.
Definitely. I'm assuming those signs, like you're saying, will not be there because every time we post signs up, they take them down. I'm hoping whoever from the city posted those signs, because I wasn't informed that that was happening today. I'm hoping they took photographs of the signs being posted, so at least we have evidence when they take the enforcement side.
I have seen 2 of them myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. They're also starting to place those same signs in the canyon off of 50th or 5000 University of Furniture. Those signs are going up in that canyon as well. I did drive across the opposite side of Choice Creek there, where all the trucks are parked by the Teen Town side, if you will. That side's pretty empty right now. There's a couple vehicle and habitation things going on there, the big trucks, but the encampments along the power substation there. There's, I think, 1.
They've all moved to the others, to the creek side.
Exactly. They keep doing this back and forth deal. They do that to us at the 15 at University. They do it to us in a few different places. The vehicle and habitation deal, that's really hard. I know I got an email just from Linda a little bit ago about a specific truck. And so right now we are non-enforcement on vehicle and habitation. We cannot, there's a pending lawsuit, settlement soon with the city, and we will figure out how we move forward. I'm actually attending a meeting at Police Plaza on the 21st of March and talking about this lawsuit, and then forward when it comes to enforcing that. So bear with us on the vehicle and habitation right now.
And was that secret out?
And that's been an up and down thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were, and then we weren't, and then we were, then we weren't.
Within the community, the vehicle habitation issue. One thing if somebody sleeps in the car, it's another thing when they've dumped all their trash adjacent to the vehicle.
100%.
It's totally
And
inexcusable.
I feel like, okay, you can't enforce vehicle and have, you can't enforce littering.
Yeah,
But again, with the littering side, we have to actually see them throw the item out, or somebody else has to see it, and that's called a citizen's arrest, if that person is going to go forward with that.
DNA testing on that bottle of beer or bottle of soda.
Yeah, too much money, too much time. Any other questions regarding any of this?
We have Brent online. You mute yourself, Brent, ask a question.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I live on the canyon. I've been nice enough to meet. Sorry, it's Joshua, right? The police
Yes.
officer. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? I've met you before. Again, yeah, always communicative and helpful, and really appreciate your efforts and down there. It's been interesting to see them all go from the substation side to the southern side, and then recently, just for what it's worth, they seem to have. It's little movements in one direction. They have even crossed the creek, and I've seen them a camp set up on the other side of the creek, more in the brush, further away from the road. Probably, maybe gives them a little more comfort that it's not going to be cleaned up in a few weeks, because they're kind of deeper in there, below those residences. So just something I've noticed from the perspective of the residences above that canyon. And otherwise, it seems like it, the get it done, and the police department have done a good job of coming in there every few weeks. But yeah, it's a pretty big camp going on right there on the eucalyptuses on the south side of the parkway, and they seem to even kind of created little bridges and gone into the brush south of the creek itself. So for what it's worth, just wanted to bring that up, and thanks for your efforts and info on this.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think environmental services is beginning to get caught up. So as soon as they are all caught up from the flood stuff, they'll be back out off of Choice Creek doing the pickups again of any cannons. So I think we should start seeing that again. I will liaison with the neighborhood policing division to see about what that looks like, that time frame is. But the no camping signs is an obvious step in the enforcement posture. So it's got to become a city.
Douglas, thanks, man.
Oh, hello, hi, thank you. Say you brought up something that I thought was interesting. You said citizens arrest. Could you go through that structure if, say, I was walking, driving, whatever, down the street and saw such a violation? How would a citizen go through this citizen's arrest? Can you walk me through how that would happen?
Yes, so essentially misdemeanors that are not committed and are present, I'm pretty certain it applies to these certain infractions as well. You as a private citizen can effect an arrest. I cannot make an arrest on something that I do not see if it is a misdemeanor or less, for example. You take enforcement, it has to be a felony crime, then that, or there's misdemeanor exceptions that I can take enforcement on when they're not in my presence. However, in the event that a citizen wanted to make an arrest, the best way to do that is essentially, you again have to call the police. You have to use the non-emergency number. You have to basically, if you maintain visual of this person, hey, they're illegal dumping or they're littering, gross littering, right? Like jumping things out of their car. That's more along the lines of illegal dumping. And there is a section for that. And, as long as you maintain visual and you can identify that person, then the citizen can opt to help us with the prosecution side of saying, like, I want them placed under arrest, under citizen's arrest. But what that requires is you got to sign the back of the citation, sometimes a fingerprint, and then it requires you also to possibly go to court and testify, because you are the key witness. We're just facilitating that arrest. So we're basically the facilitating agency that's facilitating your citizen's arrest over that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, if I saw something, I would say, I'm placing you under citizen's arrest. I would call 911, you guys. And in the meantime, if they did anything else, but you would come and rely on my visual identification at what they were doing. But it's not like I could try to restrain them or anything like that. I think that's maybe a cloudy area, which I would never do. But that
I will break this down a little bit and say, for example, you're in the store and it's a misdemeanor. And they're trying to walk out and they're stealing stuff. And you decided that you were like, nope, we're not gonna tolerate this in our community. There is no police officer. I am going to help the store detain this person because they're not free to leave. You are placing him under citizen's arrest. And then we come and we take custody of the person and do all that. However, I do not recommend that you ever do that because one, it's likely, because you are not a police officer, that they are likely to be more combative. And it's very likely that you, as a citizen, will probably get hurt. It's more likely they're going to harm you than they're gonna harm me. And then in the event that they decide to harm me, I have other things, right, at my disposal that allows me to protect myself. So it's best that you don't put yourself in that situation. Can you? You could. It's really not something I would recommend that you do. I would recommend that you be a good reporting party. You keep eyes on, you maintain that visual. I have not lost sight of this guy. I saw him illegally dump 5 bags of trash onto the side of the street. And because of that, I want him placed under citizen's arrest, because the officer is gonna, you have to say, I request officer contact. I'd like to press place a citizen's arrest for illegal dumping. And then you would have to have the officer call you, and that's how that would be facilitated. Because otherwise, the officer gets there, he sees 6 bags and the guy sitting in the truck. The officer did not see it. He cannot do anything.
I understand. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
No, you wouldn't call 911 in the event of an illegal dumping or something. That's gonna be a non-emergency thing. I'm just saying, if you happen to live on the canyon and you witness something, gross illegal dumping, some sort of assault or something, you could request that, you did maintain visual, you still see the suspect, this is the clothing he's wearing, he's there, you saw him physically punch that other person. I want that person's placed under citizen's arrest. And you can do that as long as the victim in that case, for that scenario, is cooperative. So I know there's a lot there, there's a lot to go through there, but I do not recommend that you ever make contact, try to apprehend people, try to be Batman, if you will. All right. I don't want anyone getting hurt, because this day and age, they really don't think twice about hurting a police officer, let alone a citizen. Okay. And your job is not to be putting yourself in danger. I hope that's very clear.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
Don't think so. All right, that's the social worker, Roberto, because I was just getting ready to say you were on one. You would know.
I was at Southeastern Planning Group meeting, so I was bounced around here.
For those that don't know, this is Roberto Marin, our community representative from City Council District 9.
Oh, that's a good thing, Ben. Yeah, so hello, everyone. Roberto Marin with Council President Gaylord Rivera's office. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Dr. Cummings, for always being here as well. I want to give first and foremost a couple updates. The channel Rolando Boulevard from Aragon all the way down to College is cleared out. They have fixed, for the most part, they have fixed most of the retaining walls. They cleared off all the vegetation. They have done mitigation as well. And yeah, they finished that, I believe, a day or two ago. And I sent pictures to Lynn, and I posted it also in the email updates that y'all should have received. If y'all want to get them, just let me know. You can be on that list. So we're happy that a lot of the advocacy, it took way too long. It took a flood and 15 years for that thing to get done, but the past is the past. And so we're happy that it's now complete.
Does that include the covered over portions of the creek or only the open portions?
Covered in. So they went in there and they excavated. I don't know what they showed me, like a technique or whatever. They got like a crane and they went in there, sucked everything out, all the sediment, everything out.
From the covered over portion.
Right, correct.
Wow,
Yeah.
great.
So they were working like around the clock. So they were working. Yeah, they were working on the weekend, I think, like Sunday, like Sunday evening. So we're happy that that was accounted for, and we're appreciative of ESD staff at the time. As you know, the flood recovery efforts are still going on. Village Green, the latest update I have from them, as they are part of the Rolando Park community, they are looking at a late April, early May re-emergence into the apartments. And I know Lynn and the Rolando Park Community Council wanted to organize some sort of furniture drive or something like that to replace everything that was lost. So we're going to be having those conversations probably in the next month to see how we can utilize that. maybe have SDP help us out as well, coming out and just supporting. Those folks, I remember the first night, I don't want to take too much time, but the first night it was like I was seen out of a movie, like water like off to the knees. I was in my dress shoes, they got all wet. Sean was down there too. And yeah, it was dark. It was like madness. And so it's pretty sad, but you know, we're really relying on ourselves, on our neighbors, on our community, to really balance those needs. they have. The last thing I want to share, I believe, as you know, there's an item on council today for park allocation. So one of those was actually in Redwood Village, which is the Joyous Triangle Park. They received close to $1 million and additional funding, which is basically to finish the GDP and also to start the funding of construction. Also looking at innovative ways to vacate, because there is some issues with maybe the city needing to buy the land in order for the park to be completely there. So that's something I found out today with my conversation with Andy Field that I met. So we're going to be touching base this week on a briefing to get all the details and facts of what is actually going on there. Something that Lynn mentioned to me last week was they're repaving Choice Parkway. Did not know that was a thing until late on Friday. So we're looking at what is going on there. I'm getting 3 different answers. So that will also be addressed with Andy and Lucero as well as looking into that. Just to be clear, we didn't ask for it, nor did we advocate for that. They just put it on and said we're going to repave it. So we're really going to try to make sure that we're allocating smart dollars to smart infrastructure projects, not wasting time on repaving Choice Parkway. So yeah, that's all I have. It's not a sexy street at all. Absolutely not. And we're also, so Anthony George from the Transportation Department emailed me late today that they're going to have the results in the next few days. He apologizes for the delay, but that they're really working around the clock. 38, 3900 of Aragon were monitored for traffic studies, and I believe 38, 3900 blocks of Long Alta. So we are looking at that. Hopefully get some results. If not, you know, we're going to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what we're going to do then, but I know one of the things in the walk audit was pedestrian access, pedestrian safety. Not a lot. I drove around many times running myself. There's not a lot of pedestrian markings, not a lot of signage, especially with kids here. It is a danger, and it's only a matter of time where someone gets hit, and it's not good. So we're really going to be looking at that. We're also going to be having a safe streets policy that we're rolling out in the next few weeks, and that's totally tailored to making the traffic studies easier and more reflective of what the community needs and wants. Right, yeah, I'm with you there, Lynn.
Those
And that's it.
signs, you know, that are, I guess that long, so that it's on,
The beacons,
this tells you the speed limit.
yeah, the beacon,
It doesn't collect data like when someone's speeding that.
No.
It just
Yeah.
tells you you're speeding.
yeah,
Slow down,
yeah.
it says.
Again, I'm not an engineer, but I do think we need to, in general, we do need to update the traffic like evaluations and how it's conducted. We kind of had the battle with the department because they were doing it, I believe, they did it on some random holiday-ish.
Yeah.
There was no school, SDSU, no school
4th
here.
of July.
4th of July, and so obviously you're not gonna get the results that you're wanting, right? If you're doing it at a certain time, so we asked specifically, they did it, I have the dates, they did it on February, was 12th?
The 16th.
Yeah, so they,
I know that they always do it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
yeah,
They put the hoses down, they measure one of those days, and then they'll tell you to after.
yeah, so they did it, I made sure that they did it, because I think previously someone emailed me saying, hey, they did it on like a Sunday with like no one here, so. Yeah, it is a little frustrating, but yeah, that's all the park
They
allocation.
only do it one day.
Yes, 24-hour study, yeah.
Wow, I've seen those out on other streets for weeks.
They leave them out, but they only measure them.
Yeah,
Wow.
again, I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you whether that's accurate or not.
No, that's a,
But no, yeah, I know that, but I know we got a little time, but yeah, thank you to John, Jennifer, and a lot of other folks that called in for the Choice Triangle Park that did make a difference, and I'm happy to report that that was passed and we're getting that allocated. Just to give you broader context, it was Choice Triangle, the Choice Creek, Oak Park Trail System, that was also included. And then also, I know it's not here, but it's kind of nearby, Clay Park.
How about Montezuma?
Montezuma Park was included there, yes, correct. So, any other questions?
Environmental services, are they back to picking can stuff, or are they still?
I don't think they're overwhelmed anymore. I do know from, so knowing from Joyce Parkway, I know that was something you were talking about there, I was hearing. They are starting, they're gonna implement signs and they already did, I think. So the priorities, so just so y'all know, this is not, I'm just reporting what I heard, okay? The priorities are parks and schools. Anything else is getting put on the back. So again, that's what I was related to. So, I know they're asking for new locations of no camping, and one of the things I was gonna ask all of y'all, if you're cool, is one, I know it's like a small sliver of Xenia Canyon, but having one there, I don't know if that'd be an interest of anyone here. And I know it probably might not make a ginormous difference. But
Since it's already in camp there, sure.
yeah, it's like so basically a sign, or if, yeah. Or if like the school wants stuff, like, I don't think there's any around here, but if the school wants them, just in case, they could also place them there too. Yeah, it's gonna be for a portion of this. Yeah, so let me know if you want to do that, just send me an email, hey,
What do you think it's the entrance?
yeah, that's where.
So it's the first 10 feet is city property.
Right.
And there isn't a camp there now. It's in there for anybody.
I reported it,
We've all reported.
yeah, so it's called.
Not no preference.
Yeah.
Not like fading.
Yeah.
And it's, it's getting more and more.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is, we're starting to wrap up dumpster days. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. March 30th, we're having a dumpster day on Streamview.
Yeah.
We're bringing 4 containers.
4.
Yeah, I'm being very ambitious here. 4 containers. I invite you all to volunteer, to help out, stop by. I'll be there. The usual suspects will be there. I mean, Lynn, Vicky, I'm assuming, unless you don't like me.
Routina's online.
Bettina, John again over here. But yeah, let me know if we, like, if y'all want to volunteer or just come support. It's from 8 to 11.
But whereabouts in?
Streamview Spa,
It's probably.
the intersection of Streamview and Spa. Yeah, we'll be there. I'll be there.
About halfway,
Yeah,
college?
yeah, it'll be we'll try to do it halfway. We can't do it in the middle or the roundabouts, so we do it on the big section where there's a lot of concrete, so it's easier for folks. And it's not a traffic hazard. So we want to make sure everyone's safe, so.
Okay. And when would we hear maybe about the vacation process for children?
That's right. Talk to Andy, he didn't tell me on like 2 days, so I'll let you know. Yeah, they did. So.
Let's wrap that up. See if I can bring up my screen. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you got it. Yep. Moving on to our item. Last month's meeting, we looked for suggestions for new priorities for this year, and we only have 2. So we put out a poll to elect a new treasurer, and I'll open it up to give people a chance to offer up some other ideas. And as usual, we do get some great ideas. What we're going to share with you, we're going to talk about them in a little bit. So, and in red is pretty much going to be our responses to what we can do. This is sort of our work plan for the year. People want to see more community engagements. You're looking at pretty much the people who could do that, and we have a lot on our plates already. So if people want to have things like holiday house decorating contests, beautification committees, we need some people to step up and volunteer for these things. It's just, I think we're pretty busy right now, sorry. Someone else suggested that we need to be more visible in the public, and we should have more PR about what we do and put a value on what we do in our community. Again, we have a social media presence. We send out monthly news with our agendas. We're at a lot of events, but someone else would have to pick this up because we just don't have enough volunteers to come. Another good one, I think this is really good, and I was going to ask Roberto about it because at one time we did talk about maybe having like some pots on University. More plants. Next month, I'm gonna ask John Hogan from Redwood Village, because John and I are on a subcommittee for our planning group. And we made a proposal to the District 9 office in the fall for a tree canopy on University Island. And this is sort of to compensate for the fact that Sanday decided that this end of the bikeway did not need landscaping. And the city sort of gave them a pass on it. So we're working with our District 9 office. We submitted a proposal to put in a tree canopy from 54th to Aragon Drive. We'll be advocating for it in the budget. It's going to be a lean budget this year, but we will see what happens. So the pressure's on Roberta. Bring it on.
Right.
Bring it on.
Right.
Some of the things, I like the idea of potted plants on sidewalks. I think if people want to do that, that's sort of beyond the scope of we can do. And to break up concrete, probably might require a permit depending on where you put it. Very least would be expensive because you will have to have someone put in concrete to do something.
They have to be super heavy, so nobody can steal them.
Yeah. And so she also asked about more trees at Rolando Park, the joint use park. We did ask about that last year. Michelle and I met with the Park and Rec staff with Andy Field and Shannon Scroggins, who's the landscape designer for the district. And a lot of the reasons they cannot put more plants in here is because of the irrigation and where those lines run. If it were up to us, we actually wanted to put 20 more trees on the upper field. Somehow they don't think they could accommodate that. But we'll see, maybe things will change in the future. Also comments about cars on front yards. I got that comment from 2 different people. So we encourage you to file a code enforcement case. You can file it online. I did hear a comment from Council Member Elo Rivera that there is something in the works where code enforcement would do more than send a letter out to people to tell them to get their cars off the yard. They actually would be having code enforcement go out again at some future point. Because now if you make a complaint about cars on the front yard, they send a letter, and most people do comply. But I know for a fact there are 2 cars here. People don't want to comply. Yes.
I can say that I have a meeting every month and a half with code enforcement. So if there's addresses that vacant houses, abundance of these kinds of issues, I need an email with the address and like kind of a little verbiage of what that is. And when I have my sit down via Teams meeting with code enforcement, that's my opportunity to bring up new addresses that are impacting the community in a negative way. I can do that. Then that will initiate a code enforcement investigation.
That is great news.
Food for thought.
But no. So again, you can file that online. That's the easiest way to do it. This one is way out of the scope of what a community council can do. We can't help with the homelessness problem except to encourage people to file, get it done, and be patient. Because the neighborhood police follows a progressive model, and it generally is 4 times, 4 visits. What happens, you submit it, get it done. When they go out, they close it out. If they don't go away, you will have to file a second, get it done. And they just make a second visit. So it can take up to 4 visits before you can actually get an encampment to move on.
Yes, and typically that 4th visit is usually an arrest. If they refuse to leave and they don't move, and then that they get booked, and then after that, they'll start doing restraining order, stay away from the location, and then they're arrestable even if they're at the location. That one can. So it's very progressive.
And the word at the Mid-City Homeless Coalition meeting held at the Mid-City Police Division monthly. If you have filed a get it done regarding an encampment area, it then gets closed out for whatever reason there. Sometimes there's a delay for environmental services to respond and take care of it. It was recommended that if your get it done has been closed out and you now see 2 days later an encampment, please do another one. And I would ask you, please don't give in to GID fatigue. Because a lot of us are facing that particular issue. But it lets neighborhood policing division know what's going on. And in some cases, like Choice Triangle, the campers are back there 15 minutes after everything has been done by neighborhood police.
Sure.
Yeah, the biggest thing up we have is even with an arrest, it's a booking release. So as soon as they book them, they get released. For the officers who problems in writing the report, they're already on the way somehow back. So it's a problem for sure. We can't arrest our way out of this. No, the Choice Parkway path, place like 5 individuals in safe camping within a week and a half. It's just this revolving door, very frustrating.
Again, out of the scope of what we can do, except to urge you to file a get it done. If it's closed and you still see the encampment there, file a get it done again. Get resolved, it just takes long. This is actually was suggested last in January at our walk audit. So it must have been a participant. That they'd like to see a stop sign at Marlow and 69. I think if you walk on Marlow, you know now that it's a busier street, much busier, and cars are coming on to 69. Yeah, that's slowing down. So request was turned in and it's under study. We should have a report maybe in late April. Yeah, we have more going on. We have Joyce Cadillo who'll be working with SoapMat at Rolando Plaza, but a suggestion was made that we work with the owner of the shopping center at Rolando Plaza to be aware of improvements, activities, etc. Again, we need someone to interface on that. We have talked to the owners at various points in the last 10 years of community council. Not too receptive to the community, really. They're about keeping their spaces rented, and they haven't really maintained that space very well. And they have a revolving door property owners as well. So this is where we're at. We're keeping most of the priorities from last year because they're not completed yet. And we're adding one more. So I'm going to start backwards from the last one here. And this is actually, it's on our list, but again, without a volunteer. I did thank Jennifer Bennett last month because Jennifer actually applied for a grant from the Previs Foundation to do a mural on that underpass, and it would have been very cool. She just didn't get the grant, but I applaud her efforts. And John, is Jennifer online? Or you? I want to talk a little bit about the illegal dumping issue.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I just put a quick slide based on the meeting that I had last week with Roberto, Lucero, and Bettino was there. And this was Richard Diaz from Oak Park, just to kick off how we can resolve these issues before they actually start construction of Streamview Phase 2 to address the illegal dumping. And did you want to add anything to that? This is really, it's going to be a priority for Redwood Village. Some of us will also be working on it though.
I agree that we definitely need to address it prior to starting the Streamview Drive construction project. And if we could inform the public that it's not a approved dumping site and that they need to do other things with their objects, that's the route we need to go. So let's do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Just the conversation that we had with Lucero was that we couldn't get a commitment that environmental services would help do code enforcement. to stop this issue. That is, for me, that will be the biggest drawback in stopping illegal dumping is if you don't have anyone to enforce it, why would anyone stop?
They just go clean up, they don't care about private.
We think that the reason that they decided it's actually less expensive to just have someone come through regularly and pick it up rather than try and enforce it.
Reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
So I know the flyers, Roberto's office has printed up flyers to distribute to residents along Streamview for the cleanup, and on the back, there's information about the fact that it's about illegal dumping, and it's printed in 3 languages, so we will have the apartments with those.
Well, we get
Apartments
lost
are one of the culprits there.
Yeah, couches show up at night.
Yeah, we're not even in the night, sometimes.
It's right in the middle. of the day.
So we'll keep you updated. This one has to, we need to see some improvement before they start construction, I think. At the end of the day, like I said, you don't want to spend $45 million on Streamview and landscaping and then go out and buy mattresses profit. That's in the trade, so. Xena Canyon, I don't know how this is gonna go because there are gonna be budget cuts. But Groundwork, our environmental equity partner, submitted a request to the city on our behalf to purchase Xena Canyon as a capital improvement project. Park and Rec has made a commitment to purchase 100 acres over the next few years of property in park deficient areas like ours. Xena Canyon is 14 acres. We think they should buy it so that we can get it maintained and probably put in walking trails again like we used to have. Get rid of the invasive plants, some new native plants, and in short, weed out the homeless issue as well. So we don't know because of budget cuts how it's going to go this year. We do know that any purchase by the city will now require an environmental study. So that adds to the cost of this. We'll keep you posted.
School district, for money, you'd think they would be big.
They should give it away to fire supply.
They don't. You think they would be big.
Literally, I'm sorry. Probably a bad choice of words. So the second part of this is that we've been talking to the school district since last summer about a brush abatement, which is way overdue down there.
Yeah.
I want to thank Roberto because he was very pushy. I say persistent. About trying to get them to do it this fall, and they pushed it out to the spring. And I talked to them 2 weeks ago, and now they pushed it out to the summer to the next fiscal year. Yeah.
Julio reached out and we're in active conversation with the school trustee and the staff. So hopefully we're nudging them still.
Because that would be our next step.
So they don't get a visit from fire rescue like all the residents that live along the canyon got.
They have like a certain exemption for a certain area around the school.
I think I did bring it up a while ago, the fire marshal did tell me like, yeah, Unified needs to take care of it before we find them. I'm pretty sure they said something. Like that.
Okay,
Well,
well,
the fire rescue guy agreed with all the residents that it is not our problem. It says no trespassing. It's owned by the school district. It's gonna be on them if we end up losing our houses over a fire.
But we can prevent it.
they could prevent it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They need to prevent it though, because I can't keep up with it.
No, and it's not on the residents. I mean, everybody around the perimeter of the canyon last year was visited by the fire department and cleaned up what they needed to clean up. Everybody but the school district.
Exactly.
So that 14 acres by the school.
You got an earful from all the residents about the canyon side. It's not
So,
being our responsibility.
and also not doing the brush abatement makes it very easy for the homeless encampment to be
Yeah.
more widespread because it's so much easier to hide down there.
Yeah.
So there should be a ability to contact brush management, right? San Diego Fire.
we have contacted them.
Yeah.
Contacted them 3 times about the same issue. San Diego Unified just says
Wait, no, wait a minute. San Diego Unified is the school district.
yes, they own the property.
Okay.
They own it.
Yeah, so fire marshals were out there. They said they need to take care of this. And then they said, okay, we're gonna take care of this in November. So they said, okay, right, hands off. Then they said, we're actually gonna do it in April. So the fire marshal said, okay. Now they're saying they're not. So we're gonna do another, you know.
You need to go back to the fire marshal for what it is, because they did go around to residents.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, yeah, they
Fire
go
rescue that put around, not fire marshal.
Well, I did talk to her
Brush management.
ago. Yeah.
So if the residents didn't, let's say the fire marshal came by my home and said, we need to take care of this, and I was like, okay, I'll take care of it eventually.
You get fined.
What would happen if I just didn't do
You
what
get
I
fined.
was required to do?
There's like a code. They give you a letter.
I get a financial penalty, right?
Yeah.
Until you.
Just wondering, doesn't seem like the school is getting any penalty or.
Yeah, it's like they're not a resident, so they don't,
It's like they don't know,
they're not on the same rules.
is this part of the exemption
I
that you mentioned?
There's a certain footage away from the school that they.
No, the exemption that they don't have to pay the consequences, they don't follow the same rules as we do, as far as you don't get this done, you get penalized.
Well, that's what we're trying to get.
I mean,
resolved
if
here.
you live in Alpine or Poway or, you know, you're Ramona and you own 14 acres. You're responsible for that.
Sure.
During the extension, you're a firefighter.
Everybody.
School district is never held accountable.
No, I know. Edith, you got a question?
In my opinion, San Diego Unified is gonna continue to just push it off because that's what they do.
Yes.
And our representative for our area is not effective in getting things done for our area. So my suggestion would be for the residents along the canyon to write a letter and say that we, requested that you do this. You pushed us off, just what has been, fire marshal has, told you that this needs to be done. We pay tax dollars to support you, in the efforts. If there's a problem, then you are going to have to cover the property and have the residents sign it and copy the fire marshal in it, send it to the district and release it to the media. And that's how you get, and that's how you advocate for yourself.
Well, that is what we're doing here, what was suggested to us. I did talk to Groundwork about it. We'll be leading, unless Roberto tells us something good in the next couple of weeks. Make our lives easier.
To get all your signatures from your residents.
We will be talking to all of the residents around the perimeter to try and get 100% buy-in from them to sign on, and then opening it up to the rest of the community to sign.
Well, it's San Diego.
I know they cleaned part of it about 3 years ago because the parents threatened them with a lawsuit. So they cleaned a little bit, and then this mitigation department said we've done our job, thank you, and they just.
They didn't do anything by my side. We've done
They did, they
we've
would,
done all the stuff.
they did clean, I was there.
We're out there to the dumpster day. You got dumpster companies chopping off the limb of a tree.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah, we did that. We did that.
That's, I
Remember
don't,
that.
yeah, but that's exactly the point that we shouldn't need residents doing that. It should be unified. Like Fox should be out here out here bringing us back vegetation like that.
Well, they could sell it for Berkeley.
Yes, I think that was all.
Yeah, I think
of
we
it.
probably
Let's see if they can agree. I think it's sort of a cavalier attitude on their part, because when I first started talking with them in Groundwork, and they said, oh, well, we couldn't possibly take care of all that canyon space. If it bothers the residents, why, we could have the police department show them how to do a cleanup. And it's like, no, we do cleanups all the time. We just don't want to continue to clean up homeless encampments because you're not taking care of the problem.
Yeah.
So, anyway. That's where we are, is hopefully with getting the city to look into purchasing it, but otherwise we'll be starting a campaign to try and get the school district to do their part. Clean it up. We'd like to have a cleanup, a community cleanup again this fall, but not going to do it unless it's done by the school district first and alleviated some of our problems. Well, we talked about this a little bit. We do have a final design for the entrance into Rolando Park, the Gateway Project, AKA the Pocket Park. The design is done. It's in the city for review. It is city property. It's a city right of way. No idea how long it's going to take. Maybe 6 months is what I've heard to get it reviewed. So we'll see. And we'll see what happens. But it's that little pocket park here, which by the way has a homeless down here in the area that we're seeing right now. But we'll be removing the palm trees. And there's a diseased carrot or mulberry tree. And adding some live oak and American sycamore and some native shrubs. It's a very nice design done by Vicky Strada. Yes. Very nice. So, and a monument sign.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It'll be very nice. We are on that. Now, cleanups in the community, but people did ask about this. We are doing at least 6 cleanups this year. We just finished our first one on University. We have one in Redwood Village at the end of this month. We'll do 3 more on University Avenue over the year. We hope to have one on Xena Canyon. We're going to do 2 cleanups, I hope, here at the Joint Use Park to clean up the parking lot and spring. And then the week before we do movie in the park, we'll clean it up again. And we would also like to do one on College Avenue from Bill and Jeff because it's pretty trashy looking. But we would like the residents who live along Little College to participate.
Yeah.
So we will be distributing flyers and asking for buy-in on it. We can get half a dozen volunteers for a Little College from that section. Then we'll talk to Roberto and see about scheduling it. But they have to help. They have to want to help us. As Roberto said, we're waiting to hear back on Loma Alta and Aragon. We also have a traffic study that's completing on 69th between Celia Vista and University. In November, we had a very strange meeting because we have lots of people come in complaining about the traffic, which is why you see 3 items up here. So that traffic study on 69th is because a gentleman complained about speeding. It's true. At Celia Vista and Bing Street, that's a unrestricted intersection. So the city did come out and look at it. They agree it's dangerous. So they're going to red mark it. 40 feet on the west side, 30 feet on the east side. Take about 90 days. And that should help the visibility problem for you and the person who asked about it. You try and pull out on the Celia Vista. Another woman who was here in November turned in her own traffic study request. And that sign was also granted. That's at Donna Avenue and Donna Way, which is right off 69th. That should be installed sometime in the next 40 days. This slide. So when I do have some information down here about asking for additional traffic enforcement patrols, and I can put that in the, you can find it on our website. I'll see if I can drop it into the chat before the evening's over. But you can ask for additional traffic patrols. I just don't know how often you can get them. We ask, and they come one time, and then we don't see them. Last summer, when they put the recall signs in, that was the first time in about 3 years we actually had someone here, and they stayed one afternoon for about 2 hours, and we never saw them again. So I know that's tight traffic enforcement, but yeah, a little bit of enforcement goes a long way. So the last thing we want to talk about, because this really is our priority for the next few months, and that is to help our Village Green apartment residents. And I do hope, I think most people do know those apartments were flooded. The ground level was flooded out. There's 57 families that lost their their homes. And they're all displaced, right? So we have 57 families that are displaced. And they'll be moving, that's a better timeline I did you get.
Yeah.
Because I did think I heard June.
I heard June.
Yeah. So we want to do what we can do to try and help this. We're talking about having a fundraiser, local restaurant fundraiser for them. I don't know if everybody saw Corbin's did one for them a couple of weeks ago. So we tried to organize one. And we want to do something, we're thinking like a household item donation.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna have lost most of their stuff. We think we can help people get the basics. To get back into their apartments. That's a good stuff. You're talking with Roberto. Willow is talking with the Croc Center, the Family Resource Center there, to try and help some of the families.
We're gonna try and set up the global office hours after the folks who need help with FEMA.
So we're looking for other ideas. Anybody else have any ideas?
Possible suggestion, having worked a donation center in the early days. For the individuals who are coming back or the families coming back, if you could almost like have a little checkoff sheet that they could mark, you know, I could use 3 sponges, I could use a bucket or whatever. Otherwise, you may have people donating items that.
No, this will be very coordinated. I'm actually thinking of something like a registry for each family, with a checklist of what they need.
Yeah, give a standard checklist, and is there something on here that you need, or quantity that's on it? That helps you to really narrow down what you're going for and not being stuck with a lot of extra stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be very specific. These are the items we need today, this week, this month, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But set it up almost like a gift registry kind of thing.
That's
And we'll figure out how we can get items from people who want to donate to families there. And help people get back on their feet.
And some people may wish to donate money instead of going to the store and buying something. To leave that option open for individuals, because then maybe you can do the bulk purchase of something that you can really leverage.
We're nonprofits, so we can also do tax receipts. Debbie, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was thinking we could do something where people adopt a family like they do at Christmas time, where the family can make a list of what they want and people can adopt a family and help them out, or even do it by person, because they're going to need personal things. They're going to need clothes. They're going to need everything.
I think most of them have been getting that where they're living. Most people are temporarily in motels, I think.
I mean,
so I think clothes wise are okay. The things I think about is, could someone go in the kitchen and make a meal?
yeah,
Have what they need to make a meal and what they need to sleep at that night. Do they have a bed, place to sleep?
but
So-
they're, I mean, they're going to need cleaning. They're going to need everything. They're going to need clean. They're going to need everything.
I agree.
I mean,
Sorry.
just a thought.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie. Bettina?
I just wanted to emphasize, having also worked 2 years in nonprofits and lots of fundraisers, that it's crucial to remind people that the items should be new or extremely gently used, because while there's a lot of meaning people out there, we just have to be careful how we structure that and make it clear what we're asking for, and not use items like,
Yeah.
pretty or old, because it's kind of interesting. People would consider a good donation. But out there, I've seen sad things. I would hate for it to turn out that way, these folks.
Yeah. Well, it's still a work in progress.
I think if we get a list of what they need and we can start there, and then we can make register your like donations, do a fundraiser. It's a work in progress. We have a little bit of time, so this is great.
bigger, box and a crop.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's it. Unless anyone else has anything for tonight. We'll call this meeting adjourned.
Here's what my hand up.
Oh, no, that hand,
Debbie.
Debbie, I think she left her hand up. Debbie, did you? She had her hand up earlier.
Sorry, my bad.
All right, everyone, thank you. Good conversation, and if you think of other ideas, you can email them to us, contact us at rolandopark.org. Reach out on our Facebook page. Like us down in the clean. Be there, thank you.
So sitting.
Bye-bye.